Welcome to Tech at Lunch, the podcast that satisfies your hunger for all things tech while you enjoy your midday meal. So grab your sandwich, tune in, and let's dig in. Hello, Nick.
Hello, I'm Ed.
And, this week we had to move into a different room to do the recording, so it's going to sound a little choppy. It's not going to sound the same, but, we're back in a normal recording area here in a little bit. You don't hear John with us. He had some stuff he had to take care of at the house. So, but, the one thing that, and we'll get his opinion on it when we talk to him next week, is one thing I want to say, sorry, we haven't been with you for a couple weeks. A lot of stuff going on, work kind of getting in the way and stuff like that. So it's kind of hard to kind of, plan some time out. So it's been, hellish beginning of the year. But speaking of that, we kind of want to go through and look at the New Year's new tech resolutions. We try to do this every year. We kind of sit down and we kind of talk about, what's something we want to learn this year. What's something that we kind of want to get behind and, kind of build. What shows are we looking at going to this year? So you know where we're at. I know some people, we've told them that we'll be at Rapid this year. That plan might change. So we'll be, discussing that. So, I guess, we'll go, what do you think, Ed?
First of all, like I said, I would like to echo what Dick said. Sorry for the hiatus. It's glad to be back to talk with you guys. For me, I think I'll just start with what would I like to learn, what skills or what things am I interested in maybe digging into a little bit deeper and gaining more knowledge. One thing I would like to challenge myself this year with is to do more with Industry 4.0. Do some things with MQTT, maybe look at some things with the unified namespace, look at some SCADA concepts, learn a little bit more about MES. I understand the fundamentals of MES, but I like to, what goes into creating a MES system? What does that entail? Mm-hmm. And how can you optimize the MES platform so that at the ERP level you can make decisions long term. So those are some of the things I would like to learn. Also, I'd like to do more with analytics. Mm-hmm. Not so much as a data scientist, but how can I leverage the data that I'm accumulating from a platform that I'm monitoring?
Like a preventative maintenance something?
Not just preventative maintenance, more like predictive. Okay. Because if you can predict things, then the preventative maintenance stuff kind of falls in place. So it's a little bit different with like software.
So like ML type of thing, like machine learning?
Some machine learning, some AI, but I preface it with when we're talking machine learning, we're talking about generating decision trees.
Okay, that makes sense.
That helps the ML mm-hmm. do what it needs to do.
Right.
But first you have to understand it from an analytical point of view before you can build a platform for ML or AI and mm-hmm. leverage those things. And those are two other topics that I would like to dig more into. And then I would like to follow up on our goal of last year that we will implement some kind of mentoring program with the STEM program. I'm really passionate about doing that. I would love for our community that's listening to maybe help us with that, and maybe we can come up with some kind of cloud-based platform through our company that can help people all over the world. I don't want to just mm-hmm. do STEM in a location. I would like to be able to reach around the world, and anybody that wants to learn STEM from a next generation worker perspective, So I'm not so much interested in teaching a a kid how to make a robot go around a table and follow a line. That those are fundamental things, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more interested in how can we leverage the 30 years of experience I have in industrial control systems
Yeah.
and show kids how exciting it could be to work in that type of environment.
Right. Push the smart manufacturing a little bit.
Yes.
I guess it's my turn. There's a lot of stuff that I think we echo, and it's a lot of stuff I want to get into this year is definitely want to start getting into some digital twin type of stuff. Really kind of learn more and more of how the digital twins are built. I definitely want to continue pushing forward with the knowledge on smart manufacturing, advanced manufacturing, IIoT type of stuff, implementation of sensors and the process and process data optimization. Pretty much following some of the classes that I'm doing this year for on my doctorate side of the house. But it's also pushing the envelope of AI and ML. Also, one of the big projects I want to accomplish this year is actually to support the goal of teaching the audience, and teaching the people, that's listening to us, is building 3D printing and building a actual robot arm. And the thing is we've touched on the robot arm before. The kind of community that we're dealing with. The thing is that community is absolutely amazing. I'm actually pulling up the name of that community now, because guys, if you're looking at trying to build, and I'll put it in there, Arctos, Arctos Robotics, 100% 3D printed robot. Unless you're talking about drive gears and stuff like that, but 100% 3D printed. You can go on his website, purchases STLs for $50. The thing is, you're always getting updates. It's 100% open. It's a great product. We're going to be building one, and we're going to bring y'all along for the ride. And that's kind of what I'm kind of interested in and happy about this year, is diving more and more and pushing more into how do we support y'all. How do I take my experience, coming from, the Marine Corps side of the house through DoD contracting, software testing, system administration, and now into, senior roles and, IT for a manufacturing company, working with the MES systems and the MQTT-based systems and the IoT-based systems. How can we make sure that knowledge is being passed on? Because the thing is we understand that, me and Ed won't be around forever to do this job. And we want the people who are coming in behind us to have that passion and understand the fun in it. Because the thing is yes, it's a lot of work. 30 years doing this nonsense. It's a lot of work. But the thing is, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of joking around, having good times. You meet people from all over the world, and you have some of the best times with them. And it's how do we get new people into that? People who want to be there, people who really want to be involved. The funny thing is going along with that robot arm thing. Kind of one of the things I want to do also this year is how do I build and integrate end effectors for that robot? Also, how do we work with vision systems, but not just like your typical vision system, but building a robot-mounted camera-based system for like recognition, facial recognition and stuff like that. But that's kind of something I want to look into, is work through the facial recognition AI type of house, and see what's going on there. So it's going to be a little bit of fun. There's some things that I'm probably leaving off the table, but that I'm not mentioning, that I'll probably end up diving into. But some of the bigger topics that I kind of want to hit. So now we get into where we want to kind of go over, kind of where do we want to go this year? Kind of some of the shows we want to hit. And I'll let Champ cover, or John cover some of the stuff he's talking about when he gets back. For me, it's going to be going up to Automate. Hitting Chicago, going up to Automate. Talking to those guys. Really want to go see the guys with Yaskawa Robotics. Talk with them a little bit. Have some face-to-face conversations with them. And then I would like to do East Coast Rep Rap this year. And go take a look at a Rep Rap convention. Maybe, just maybe, go down to Orlando for Forum Next. Later on in the year, and go see what's going on there. So this year we did Rapid TCT, and we did South Tech. Two great shows, by the way. If you ever get a chance to go, do them both. Just Rapid this year is out in California, which kind of stretches the budget a wee bit. So we get to play with that one. What do you think?
Yeah, Automate is probably a big one for me, but I would say another thing I would like to do outside of conventions, I would like to maybe reach out to some of the manufacturers in the area. Like maybe we can go and, like you say, try to reach out to FANUC and maybe do a small tour of the FANUC training facility. Maybe we can reach out to places like KUKA, Yaskawa, ABB. Maybe look at doing some things with Allen Bradley and Siemens. All reaching out to these organizations to see how we can work together or do some type of collaboration to bring more influence to STEM, because it's in their interest and in most organizations' interest to have STEM. The problem with STEM today is that it's great. However, STEM, being based on the 4 pillars, and if you want to include the art aspect of it, that's a part of it. But I think my version of STEM would be automation, robotics, bonding technologies, application technology where you're doing codings. Those would be some of the things that I would look at. And then renewable energy technologies. That's my vision of STEM.
Like STEM specific locations.
So for example, when we do,
or STEM for specific industries.
We do science, technology, engineering, and math. Math is included anyway.
Right.
I get we did it because that was just the way, that was the acronym we chose. But let's be realistic. How much mathematics are you using, even as an engineer, in a manufacturing facility? You're using it, but no one is putting calculations on a blackboard,
right,
or a whiteboard.
I've probably used more higher level math, in this job, especially if you're doing like flow tables and stuff like that, and PLCs and stuff like that, and you're trying to dilute data. But and also like for us, especially in like the IT world, you're calculating the amount of run times you have when a system fires up based on your performance, based on your production output. Because every single action requires equal and opposite reaction. So that means if one, what we call telegram, is sent, it has to open up a pathway that goes to different parts of the system. So if you're producing, if you say you have 5 stations that run, each one of those stations require at least 2 openings in the system. One to be open for receiving and one to be open for sending. So the thing is how you prevent, data drought as far as when you're doing that type of system. And then, it's kind of where math comes in, is everything you do, you times it by 2. So you're always going to give yourself an extra little bit of wiggle room, or fudge factor.
And for me, like I said, you use mathematics, but it's no need to take a pen and paper and do an equation.
Oh,
no. There's no calculus, period, that's being used in real application. I can write a program to do anything that needs to do any type of mathematics in the world.
Right.
There is, other than computational or things where we're talking with physics where the mathematics doesn't exist.
Right.
the algorithm is not available. But I'm saying in general, I can have an algorithm or create an algorithm to do that. So the reason I'm saying that mathematics shouldn't be the focus, because mathematics should already be a fundamental concept that's taught.
Right.
In my opinion, we can have that. It can be a new version of STEM, and in this new version of STEM, it concentrate on, like I said, robotics,
Yeah.
automation, coding technologies. It focuses on welding technology. It focuses on processes that use PID. Like say we do things in the steel industry, we do things with glass and so forth and so forth. We can consolidate those things, but those are the things or the concepts that should be taught. Now you take the base STEM, so we still can teach STEM at the basic level,
Right.
through elementary.
Yeah.
But once we get to junior high, we should start concentrating on, hey, what are these concepts I taught you? What interests you?
So like applied STEM.
Yeah, I think so. It should be something like that.
Right.
It doesn't have to be what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree with
For
you.
me, I don't have to be the author
Yeah.
of it. For me, I just want to be the person that calls somebody to think. I want to be the person to stir the pot so that other people be like, you know what? That does make sense. It's not the right approach, but it does make sense.
Well, you have physics and you have applied physics.
Yeah.
It's same thing as, for example, for what I'm going for, you have a PhD, which is new research. You have a doctorate or a DR, which is what I'm doing. It's applied research. So you kind of weigh that that fun little route there, and that's definitely something that this year we can definitely get behind and support, and help if anything draw up some of these new things, for applied STEM. Because it may be something that you see pop up on our website, that it's applied STEM, and you start seeing some documentation on it we may write. Because the thing is like you said, it has to be it's not industry specific, but it's more or less, of where do you want to go with it? If you want to get more into the engineering side of the house, you need to start thinking like an engineer. So if you want to be more, in a scientist biology, you start taking a different
Right.
STEM route than everybody else does. Where you're talking, chemistry, biology, lab work, lab technologies and stuff like that. You start really getting into that route, and math. If you're one of them, people who like math, then it's a whole different bag of animals.
And I argue there, the mathematics should be programming. And when I mean programming, if you're a mathematical minded person, then maybe we should have things that steer you towards creating algorithms. Maybe we should have things that steer you toward and creating new encryption models. Maybe we should steer you towards things that work on making hard and encrypted standards that are able to withstand attacks from, say, a supercomputer.
Yeah.
Those type of things should be where to me, it shouldn't be we tell the person where to
Right.
go. We just provide the funnel.
Right. Exactly.
We pour you into the funnel that you want to be poured into.
Right.
And here's another thing to think about. One of the biggest things that contribute to most economies is manufacturing. It's other than military's application development and stuff like that. Manufacturing is the thing for most countries. Services is in there too in some countries more than manufacturing, but in general, most countries that are what I would say really prosperous, they have a really substantial manufacturing sector.
Yeah.
And it makes sense that you need to make sure that you have resources to go back into the manufacturing sector. Because even if we go to AI, machine learning, and robotics and these type of things, even those robots will have to have some type of adjustment.
Right.
We are not anywhere near, a point where we can make Terminator.
Right.
Consistently. We might can make a Terminator, but you're not going to make a Terminator that can make a Terminator.
Yeah, it might be Terminator. You know,
So,
it may not be Terminator.
So for me,
Terminator.
and for humanity's sake, that shouldn't be what we want.
Right.
For humanity's sake, we should want that to be a tool and not to try to say, hey, I want to drive down the cost of labor by getting this, and I never have to worry about a worker doing this. But then you also won't have to worry about a worker having passion.
Right.
I don't care what you try to program into a robot, code cannot have passion.
Right. You know, the thing is that's when you start getting into, other, avenues of, getting people interested in things like data analysis, data analytics and stuff like that. You get the data scientists jumping in on board now. Stuff like that. And hopefully, this year, given what we're doing is, we can push that a little bit, and get people interested in that. Get people interested in CNC work. If you haven't gone and, looked at, the stuff from, Haas CNC or Titans of CNC for that matter, or even some of the other low cost CNC guys out there, they have, stuff out there and kits available that aren't going to, break the bank. I just found it the other day is there's a 100% open source LDO is building the drive kit for it to build a open source CNC machine that is able to cut aluminum. And it's just the same thing as like a mini mill. Mm-hmm. It's not this. It's a little smaller than a shop mill, but it's fully enclosed and stuff like that. Kind of like a Haas mini mill, just not as fancy. They have their own stuff to it. Stuff like that's great. It looks awesome. I mean, it's just one of those things. It's all over YouTube. It's on YouTube and stuff like that. It's absolutely amazing. Who knows? That might be a project for the year if I really get feisty on it. But, a lot of times this year's going to be trying to figure out how to not, pull my hair out friggin' going for this doctorate and doing paperwork all the time. But, here nor there. But the thing is, hopefully by then, the thing is, by the time we go to Automate, I'll be done with the semester. So if y'all see us at Automate, if y'all are there, let us know. And we'll go do something. We'll go have a beer. We'll go, have a cup of coffee at the convention center. The McCormick place is a great convention center. Been there before. That's what we did. Rapid. They got a little coffee shop in there and stuff like that. It's absolutely awesome. We love it. Chicago, you can do better on your weather though. Your weather kind of just sucks. It's a little cold there year round. And me, I don't do cold. I'm from Florida. We don't do that. We don't do below 80. So, what are you laughing about? You're from Alabama.
That's why I was laughing. That's exactly why I was laughing.
It's not the guys from like southern Texas where, they don't go below 100.
Yeah.
But it's the thing is that, and this is the reason why we always do one of these New Year, shows every time we do one of these, every time a year comes around, because it also shows us kind of what, we worked on last year. Last year we knocked out a lot of stuff that we were really kind of, hoping for. We did the shows, we got to meet new people. Hopefully this year we can capitalize on some of those conversations we had last year. We definitely got to reach out to the guys from Haas and really get them on the show. The guys from Yaskawa. We're already in contact with them. Great group of guys. Hopefully, we'll get them on the podcast here soon. They're absolutely awesome. The stuff that they're doing with the STEM-based training and stuff that they're working on is admirable. I'm telling you, they're freaking right off the rip. Those guys are doing strong and big things. And the thing is getting some of the guys from, the CNC side of the house. And, we always talk about 3D printing and we always talk about additive manufacturing. The subtractive side of the house is kind of what we got to get to, and work through and look at that. The one thing that we really never really touch on, and I was kind of looking through some stuff the other day, is CNC mills. We always talk about, CNC machines, but, you talk about the CNC mills. some of these guys that are spitting out, CNC um, um, chessboards,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. It's the thing is like a lot of people look at automation and materials and stuff like that for industrial based purposes. It is. They are. That's why they're there. However, you can use 95% of the stuff you learn to not just better your household, better your neighborhood, stuff like that. Yeah, you can start, winging with the art stuff a little bit. You can build smart mirrors, in your house with a little bit of Python, a little bit of, Google, and an old laptop, and then, Raspberry Pi, I should say. And slowly but surely, do it that way. You can add a touch sensitizer to it, make it a touch screen. However, if you have kids, you already know that all your screens are touch screens. But even if you don't want them to be. So there's that. So, that's another thing. I think, this year we'll probably talk a little bit more about is smart homing. Talking about the MQTT stuff, the IoT stuff is really kind of talking about smart homing and, going a little bit more into pretty much, robot makeup. What is a 6-DoF robot? What's a 4-DoF robot? What's a spider robot? What are these things? The Wonderful World of Robots. I think we'll probably do a series called that. And we'll cross that particular gamut of what the different robots do. What's a pick-and-place robot? What's a paint robot? What's the difference? Why are we playing this game of, it's just an arm? No, it's a little bit more than it's an arm. It's not like we're talking about Thing here. All right. But anybody else fans of that show? I doubt it, but whatever. But it's just one of those things. We're really going to be getting into some fun this year, I think. Even we might not like it, but we're going to do it anyway. We're going to have a little bit of fun, have a lot of conversations. We're not going to beat the horse too bad. However, we'll make sure that we got people learning something new. We're learning something new right there with you. We'll bring you all along for the ride, I should say. And we want to do, I think this year, just to open up the big purchase here, big thing here is not big purchase, but big thing is start doing live streams. I think that starting to do a Vulcanara happy hour, with everybody. If everybody wants to be part of that, let us know, and we'll schedule something on the, hold on, air reboot. On YouTube or YouTube. I would say Stitch and all the other stuff, but nah, I'm sorry. I don't that stuff. I'll take YouTube. I understand where they get their their security from. Everything else kind of just scares me. I understand if you're a Twitch streamer. I get it. I really do. We may stream that on Twitch too, but I've too many horror stories, I guess you could say. But what do you think about something like that?
Yeah, I think that would probably be interesting. Like I said, we would like to promote more interaction between our followers. We would like to, maybe get more inputs on topics you guys are interested in. But we would also like to do maybe some, show and tell between the users in our group. Like, hey, what are some of the things you're working on? What does your tech at lunch look like? I mean, what field are you in? I mean, what are you currently working on? What are your hobbies? Or do you have any interesting projects? Are you involved in any STEM related topics? Do you have any interest in maybe forming a STEM Discord or just forming a Discord in general for the group? We would also like to do a few giveaways this year. We'd like to do a few when we get to a few goals, and we'll bring that up. just to show our appreciations to the listeners that's been supporting us from all over the world. Um, and we would really like I said, in general, we really would like to just like, how did you end up on your path? What led you to the journey for whatever industry you're working in? Um, what was the thing that led you in school, or who motivated you? What was your inspiration? I think those would be really good topics for us to maybe have live streams. But also, we would like to, if we're in certain areas, maybe we can meet up with some of our followers in that area and just do a little meet and greet there too.
Yep. I've also thrown around the idea of, you can find us at Vulcanar Tech on X, on anything. You can probably go find us on there with Twitter if you don't remember what X means. But throwing around the idea of possibly setting up a Patreon, because what we would do with that, just to give you an idea, is we would set up a private Discord server where you can ask us directly questions, stuff like that, instead of having to go through the gamut of people and places and things. A little bit more homey, and some stuff that we're working on. We'll share it with you, and we can have more real conversations just between us. I guess you could say. And the thing is that type of stuff that if we can figure out a way to do it, and you want to call in, and we'll have a conversation about it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll run it through and try to figure out all the other fun stuff. Learning how to do live streams would be a very interesting event. Could say I've never done one of those before. So that's something that definitely we'd be interested in doing. But the thing is we're definitely not. I don't think we're gonna do the Patreon just yet. I think it's an option that we have available to us. We do have some of our other stuff that we got going on, Printed Heritage. Go take a look at those lithophanes. We'll definitely help you out with that. Get you guys taken care of. So, you'll also see a little bit more of the blog post coming. You'll see more of that. You'll see a little bit more content pop up out of places. I am kind of working on. Also, one thing I got to do this year is reboot the website a little bit. I got to get that moving just a little bit more, so make it not look as blocky. But it's here nor there.
Okay.
It's one of those things that we know we have to get done. Actually go, probably put up on an AWS cluster someplace, and and go from there, and build a web server, out in the cloud world, for some people, and just hope it doesn't storm. So, there's always that. If y'all have any questions about any of that, cloud, technologists, but that we're always willing to learn it too. If we don't know something, we'll tell you. Mm-hmm. Yes, doing podcasts and videos and stuff like that, we have to do a lot of research and stuff like that. A lot of it comes from real world experience. However, we'll tell you when we don't know something. I'll flat out tell you I don't know all of it. So we'll figure it out when we get there, and we'll get there together. Have a little bit of fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is like we've said before, is you never stop learning. That's the goal in all of this. You can be 70, 80 years old and you keep learning something.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother turns 96 tomorrow, and she hasn't stopped learning yet. Sometimes she doesn't want to learn things, but hey, she'll figure it out eventually. But the thing is it is keep learning. Never let that go.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think, not to keep everybody too long on this one, I just want to say thank you to everybody, that we've had, tune in. Some of y'all are, the real OGs on this one, because you've been listening to us even if we didn't have a consistent show over the past month, y'all. And I kind of want to say thank you for that. You definitely make it where what we do is worth it. We're at pulling up the early numbers right now. So we're at 2,192 all-time downloads. And, I'll tell you this. We have more and more fun doing this show, seeing those numbers go up. And guess what? I'm happy as it is. Pig and shit. About all this. So, I want to say thank you. Go take a look at us over there on, take a look at the website. Take a look at, what we got going on in, Instagram, X. We're on there. We are on, Facebook and some few places. And we are pushing more content out over YouTube. So, please don't think that we're not. We're working on some short videos for y'all just to keep y'all entertained. So I just want to say thank you. Go take a look at the blog post. Take a look at some of that stuff. Everybody's doing big things on that. So I'll go ahead and turn it over to Ed. Y'all have a good one.
So we do appreciate all the people that are following. Like I said, we started this at the beginning as, hey, two guys that like to talk about technology. We talked some at lunch. We talked some over a few beers. We talked some, just hanging out. And I'm amazed at how far the podcast has come. For me, like I said, I like to echo exactly what Nick said. We don't do this out of expectation of some type of monetary gain. We do it because we genuinely enjoy talking about technology. That's why our emphasis is always on learning. Everybody doesn't have the resources to gain some knowledge, even though everyone has access to the internet. Funny story, the internet for me was encyclopedias. So that's how I got started with
book by internet by book.
Yeah, so everybody didn't have that luxury. So for me, I think it's something that I'm passionate about, to be able to offer some insight to people that maybe are thinking about going into a certain field. And then we can actually give you some insight. One other thing that we will probably work on this year, and we just have to work out the logistics, is top 10 things about going into said field, and the top 10 things about why you wouldn't want to go in the field. Yep. There is a certain type of person that has to go into manufacturing. It's not for everyone.
And I think we got a couple guests for that one.
Yeah. So I would just like to say, in general, we appreciate it, and we'll talk to you next time.
All right, y'all. Have a good one.
That's all for this episode of Tech at Lunch. Thanks for tuning in and joining us for this tech-filled lunch break. We hope you enjoy the show, and don't forget to subscribe on all channels. And also, you can find us on YouTube under Vulcanar Technology Solutions. And join us for our next episode, which gets published every Wednesday at 8 a.m. All right, y'all. Have a good one. See you later.